Right now, brand new developments in the long unsolved murder of JonBenet Ramsey. A Colorado judge releasing a secret 1999 indictment just a short time ago, revealing that a grand jury voted to charge the 6-year-old beauty queen's parents in her brutal killing. Craig Silverman was the chief deputy district attorney in Denver during the JonBenet Ramsey case. Craig, good to see you. So I took a look at this. They're charged each with child abuse resulting in death and accessory. That's it, not charged, but the grand jury voted that. Doesn't really say which one allegedly, according to the grand jury, killed JonBenet, does it?
No, it's fascinating. They were both charged with child abuse resulting in death, kind of the equivalent of second-degree murder, and it was under two theories, that they permitted it and they rendered assistance. Now, it raises the possibility, was there a third person? We do know from the crime scene experts that this scene appears to have been staged. We also know about the ransom note. Was this some sort of staged kidnapping that went terribly wrong? I don't know, but this grand jury conclusion, it's really something.
Yeah.
I mean, Boulder citizens deciding to accuse JonBenet's parents for being responsible for her death.
Right. So the grand jury votes to indict, but that's not mandatory. It's up to the district attorney, who has to have, Craig, a good faith belief that he can prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt. And one would assume, would you, that Alex Hunter, the DA at the time, just didn't feel that he had sufficient evidence.
You've got it exactly right, Greg. I mean, probable cause is all you need to indict. And we don't know because we can't talk to the grand jurors yet. Alex Hunter had a right to not sign that indictment. He had a right not to prosecute. But what the judge said in his ruling recently, Alex Hunter had no right to keep this hidden away from the public. And he not only did that, but he actively led us to believe that the grand jury either exonerated the Ramseys or were never allowed to take a vote. And you have to ask, why let the grand jury vote if you're not going to do anything about it?
Yeah, I mean, he put it away allegedly in a safe and kept it quiet. Now, can he be sanctioned for doing that sort of thing? Can you have your law license suspended or be disbarred for that?
I doubt any of that, but throughout the history of this case, Alex Hunter's judgment has been questioned. Successive governors, a Democrat, Roy Romer, and then a Republican, Bill Owens, kind of took this case away from Alex Hunter, but in the end, he was the Boulder DA, and he was the man in charge.
You know, in front of a jury, there are very strict rules of evidence on what's admissible. In front of a grand jury, as you know, there are not. For example, hearsay is often admissible. There's no cross-examination. And, you know, all of that sort of has given rise to the old saw, you can indict a ham sandwich. You know, indicting's easy.
Sure.
Prosecuting a case, that's hard.
Right. If the prosecutor wants you to indict the ham sandwich, but we know this prosecutor was not necessarily leading the grand jury in this direction, might have had a runaway grand jury. There's also been tension between the Boulder police and the Boulder DA throughout this case.
Right.
The Boulder police more fixated on the Ramseys.
Patsy Ramsey, of course, died of cancer, but then there was a new DA, Mary Lacey. 5 years ago, she said that new DNA evidence suggested an intruder was the killer, and that she said, look, I plan from now on to treat the Ramseys as victims of a crime. She essentially exonerated and apologized. Did she get it wrong?
Right. Well, she's not the DA anymore. I know the new Boulder DA, Stan Garnett. He worked with me in the Denver DA's office, and he's not bound by that exoneration of Mary Lacey. Mary Lacey was another bizarre Boulder prosecutor. Remember that whole John Mark Carr fiasco?
Oh, yeah.
That was Mary Lacey.
You know, I mean, I'm getting the very clear sense, you know, Craig, that you think maybe the grand jury got it right back in 1999. Is that what you're saying?
I have no way of knowing, but I do know this. JonBenet Ramsey was the victim of first-degree murder. Somebody struck a terrible blow to her head, but then the way she died was a garrote was put around her neck and then slowly twisted till she could not breathe anymore. That's first-degree murder. There is no statute of limitations, and if the authorities could ever prove who did that or who helped do that, there's still a possibility of being held responsible.
Yeah, no statute of limitations in Colorado on murder, but there is, I think, a 3-year statute on bringing charges after an indictment, so that is run. They'd have to get...
Well, 3 years, yeah, because they indicted on a Class 2 felony.
Right.
3 years statute of limitations.
Ah, I see. You're right. All right, Craig Silverman, thanks very much. Good to see you.
My pleasure, Greg.